All right. Welcome into hour 2. King Tron with the super chat. Appreciate you, sir. He says, glad to see Ja full practice as always. Boys, thank you for being our go-to source for all things Packers and for being stand-up human beings about 65% of the time.
So 65%.
65%. That's what we
love that, guys. And he gets that halftime. What's the
it's this week, right? Yeah.
This Monday night.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, Mark Murphy's going to be honored at halftime this week. Was another reason we were thinking about flying up for that, because I'm a big Mark Murphy guy. I love it. Yeah, that's awesome, man. That's good stuff. So that should be a good time. Listen, any week can be a trap week. We talk about it all the time, right? The worst team in the league is extremely close to the best team in the league. And I know there's some fans that roll their eyes at that until their team's getting their ass kicked and they're going, what happened? It's because everybody's good in the league. But this week, if you were to look at the schedule and look at this injury list, right, when it comes to the Saints side, and you go, okay, what week would you like to pick to have, you honor someone at halftime? This is the week, right? I mean, Let's be honest. It is what it is. Doesn't mean it's a guaranteed win, but this is probably the one you would pick. Same thing if you're buying tickets, right? You want one where you jump up to a 14, 20-point lead, and you can just go get an extra daddy soda, get you some Reese's Pieces like I do. Cold beer and Reese's Pieces. Don't ask me why. I love it. All right. It is what it is. Some brats, some cheese curds.
And then get on that tube and go sled down Arians Hill at title time.
I don't know, man. You'll be I don't know, you'll be calling some dinosaurs going down that tube after eating all that trash.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Be careful.
Cheese curds make my stomach hurt all the time, but I do eat them though.
But King Tron, thank you for the super chat, bud. We appreciate you. Thanks for getting a sidetrack too, man. I love it. New Orleans Saints side. Here we go. Derek Carr, we know left hand did not participate. He is going to be out. We're all very well aware of that. Spencer Rattler, I'm pretty sure, was already named. I think there was a guy, and if I want to think it was a dude on Twitter who covers the Saints who has over 90,000 followers that broke that news that Spencer Rattler is going to start. So pretty much put that to bed, right? Jawan Johnson tied in with the foot limited. Alvin Kamara was another one. Someone else had tweeted out they did not expect Alvin Kamara to play in this game. So that's huge. If that's
groin. Yeah, I wouldn't want to mess with it.
Yeah, exactly. And what are they playing for, right?
Yep.
So Bub Means, wide receiver, man, he sounded like he grew up in the same trailer park I did right there. Ankle did not participate. Kool-Aid McKinstry with the shoulder was limited. Okay, there you go. Chris Chris Olave, wide receiver, head injury. That's a concussion. It says head. What's that about? Limited.
Be, I don't know. That's weird.
Laceration or something, maybe?
Yeah, like a contusion or something on his head, maybe.
Yeah, that's kind of scary.
I mean, that can happen, right? You could take a shot to the grill and get a cut or something, but not necessarily be concussed. So hopefully
heavy bruise or something like that, maybe.
Yep.
Could be. Have a heavy bruise on my head sometimes when I forget to take the trash down.
Mm-hmm. Oh, most of the time it's on the back of the head, though.
I am a battered husband. I promise you that. MVS, chest injury, did not participate. Hey, MVS, man, I don't know what the numbers look like. I don't know what his success rate is, his catch over expected, all that. But it just seems like every week when I turn on the tube and look at the highlights, that dude was catching a bomb, was he not?
Mm-hmm.
So –
yeah, he saved it all for when he left Green Bay.
Went and got
his receiving is tough.
Went and got that ring with Kansas City, right? So got that out of the way. Chase Young, defensive end, man. That's right. They did trade for Chase Young, didn't they?
Yeah. That we talked about, we entertained that idea for a while, right? Trying to go out, target him in free agency last season. I believe we talked about it. And he's got an illness, so that, not a specific injury. Hopefully he's just, under the weather. But, how do you gauge that too with an illness, right? Like, we're going to know before the game, right? We'll know when we get the actives.
Professor Cake says he's got 2 rings. So that's interesting. If that's true, he's got 2 Super Bowl rings. That's wild to think about, man.
That's so crazy.
Dane Stromstad said we smoke out of bubblers. All right,
stay off the damn weed.
That got such a good pop out of Amelia.
I didn't see the chat before you put it up.
It's so genuine too. Respect Orange just says drugs are bad. Okay.
Okay, guys.
All right, here we are. See, the show sucks again. Let's go to Twitter. All right, let's get off this injury list. There's
There we go.
Yeah,
Here's a guy.
You start smoking out of bubblers, you look like this.
Here's a guy.
This is my favorite picture so far this year, man. This is what we talked about, boys. For those of you listening on the pod, okay, get this picture of Caleb Williams leaned over on the bench as if he's just dying. Okay,
That's Clayton after his third bowl at Elk Stroganoff.
looking through the atrium glass for the Uber. Like, where's he at? Where's this guy at? But yeah, he just attention. Look at me. You know. So anyway.
So to that point, Clayton, last night I was playing a dude in online versus college football. His name was KC Dad, whatever something, and I was like, all right, so what's your take on Pat Mahomes? He's the god. I was like, okay. What's your take on Jordan Love? He's a bum. I was like, oh, really? Okay. So what's your take on Caleb Williams? He's the truth. And I said, exactly. Rashawn Gary with the stare down. My man, are you serious? So I just had to take – yeah.
I'd hit him.
I just unplugged the mic. I said, man.
That's crazy, man.
Can't be talking to this dude.
Yeah.
Heard it from a fan right here.
There you go. So speaking of Caleb Williams, you guys remember the famous exchange with Torrey Taylor, the all-universe punter that the Bears spent the fourth-round pick on, right? And so new Bears punter Torrey Taylor said he got this text from Caleb Williams. We talked about it, right? Hey, you're not going to punt too much here, right? Did you guys see the sideline exchange between Torrey Taylor and Caleb Williams, where Torrey calls him out? Did you see that, Tim?
No,
he
I try not to watch Bears games.
This was during the preseason, I think, and he actually said something about having to punt already 3 times, and Caleb, it's just a preseason. Like, cut him off real quick. It's just a preseason.
Oh, man.
So Scott Barrett on Twitter, go give him a follow at Scott Barrett DFB. Net yards 2024. Caleb Williams 2,535 passing yards. Torrey Taylor 2,722 punting.
Wow.
So he literally has more punting yards than Caleb Williams has passing yards. Just want to get y'all's take on that real quick, man. I don't know.
I just
Bear's gonna bear, man. That's my take. That's why they always say bear down. Yeah, like bear down and brace yourself for some more disappointing statistics and another dumpster fire of a season. That's my take on it. And I guess I could just finish it with
The Bears still suck.
all I need to say is thank you to Mountain Man for sending this in, because if not, man, we wouldn't have time to just roast him, and that's exactly what he deserves. I mean, what all he said, all we heard all season from ESPN was it was the best team that a quarterback has ever gone into, ever.
Yeah.
So why does he look like that on the sideline? And riddle me that question.
Yep.
It's crazy, man. Crazy talk. Again, shout out to Mountain Man Pack. Go give him a follow on Twitter at mountainman_PAC. All right. And don't look like this when you're in public, people. Okay. Just tell you, don't
Sit up straight.
All right. Let me comb through, make sure nothing's inappropriate here on the old Twitter, and see what's up next here. Oh, this is great, man. I had to do this. I was actually waiting on Mandy to get ready for us to go tubing today. I was sitting in the hotel, and I said, let me just throw this together real quick. You guys seen the rant, the video, right? So I just threw this together. Check it out.
And it wasn't that it was just this much.
You see how upset he look at this guy. Look at this guy, man. And everybody on the pod, this is Ryan Clark. Like, look, I don't care what he thinks. The hell you don't. Look at this dude, man. All in his feelings.
Yep.
All in his feelings. Y'all got a take on this at all?
Talking with his hands.
No, I'm gonna leave this alone. I got nothing.
12 is the man. I really can't wait for him to come back and hang up the jersey.
There you go. I second that.
Packer for life. That's all it is.
And I can't wait to watch all these haters choke on their words when he comes back, goes into the hall, gets his number retired. You all will be forgotten, and you'll remember nothing but the greatness that is Aaron Rodgers. So yeah, I'm not interested in what these guys have to say. These attention-starved, overly emotional guys. I'm good.
So you see his initials on his chest, right? And we're going to get this off quick. We don't want to get hit with a copyright, and I'm sure he'd be the type of ass that would do it. But he's reading off a script, guys. You could see him reading off a script on a 4-minute video responding to Aaron Rodgers. Look at him looking down and reading.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're
could have at least put the paper behind the camera. You know what I mean? Like look into the camera while doing it. But he's the same one that has all. I mean, you need your initials in every coat jacket you wear. I mean, do you lose it, or is it something
you
that
forget it? What's going on?
I don't. I mean, my grandpa always said just put your initials on the tag. No, but what are we doing with? You got to stitch them in everywhere. I don't know.
It's just weird. It screams little man syndrome. You know what I mean? Like, and it'd be different if Aaron like took a shot at him first. I would be like, hey man, do your thing, Ryan, cook him, you know?
Yeah.
But it's so obvious that he's just infatuated with Aaron Rodgers and then goes on TV making just an absolute mockery of himself, saying how this guy doesn't mean anything to me. I mean, it's like, obviously he does. You won't stop talking about him. It's just wild, man.
And
Absolutely.
somehow you're under the impression that people want to hear what you have to say.
Right.
I'm with Respect Oranges. The details of his opinion are inconsequential.
I don't even know what that means, but I like it. Sounds really good. Sounds very professional. Yeah, it's just, again, you're talking about, I think he made one Pro Bowl, right? Made one Pro Bowl. And him running his mouth about Aaron, he's not a leader and he's not this and he's not that. And, you know, it's just the arm talent. And once that goes, so does he and this and that. Just
sit your butt outside.
It would be like me getting on here and bashing Ryan Clark's history in the league. I wouldn't do that. I never played one snap in the league, right? So the fact that he went at Aaron like that's just hilarious. I love how Aaron's response too. Before you do it again, state your vax status, right? So everybody knows where it's coming from. It's just absolutely perfect stuff. Mm-hmm. There's too old for this. People are still hung up on Rodgers' vax stats. That's just crazy. Anyway,
he's probably just mad that more people watch him on Pat McAfee than people watch Ryan Clark on ESPN. That's probably the issue.
It's hilarious, dude. It's absolutely hilarious. So anyway, let's talk some current Packers here. Emilio, you got us off topic there. That was your fault. I'm gonna blame
you.
No. Jacob Morley says since
poop in my hand. So
Jacob Morley did not say poop in my hand. Jacob Morley said since the bye, Christian Watson is averaging 29.8 yards per reception. That is the top mark by a Packer over a 5-game span in team history. Minimum 10 receptions. That's per the Packers dope sheet, by the way. So, man, team history, guys.
That's up there. I mean, you're up there with some legends there in Packer receiving history, man. That's huge. Talk about a guy getting hot at the right time, right? You better watch out for Scoot, man. This dude
my man is getting us 3 first downs and flipping the field with just one catch, like one of those catches per game. Like that's basically what he's putting out there. That's unbelievable. And it's setting a precedent for the D to, you know, have to be able to cover that. Shell it. You know, we tried to cover him tight. I was watching Big R on the breakdown, and when he was breaking down that Christian catch, he literally was just distraught. He's like, that's our best corner. That was our Pro Bowl corner. Dude just gets, you know, he knew he had a little bit of safety help. Safety underestimated it. Both of them were behind Christian on the back shoulder ball. Like, if that was out in front of him, he probably would have still been running. So it's like, it's just crazy, you know, that he's really starting to shape up into it.
Yeah, no doubt. Ron Sample in the chat says, LaFleur says Watson is A+ in every part of his game right now. Tim, we talked about the blocking, dude. We seen it 4, 5, 6 weeks ago. It was like this dude is blocking his ass off. He's running crisp routes. His hands have gotten better. He can still stretch the defense vertically. Now we're mixing in back shoulder throws. He's drawing penalties down the field for deep game. It's a wild time to be a Christian Watson fan, dude. He's really, really stepping into his own right now.
I mean, I remember when Coach first said,
no block, no rock.
And I believe Christian Watson was like, he took that to heart, man. And really kind of fired up that whole receiving core. And if you notice, all the guys are doing it. Everybody gets down and dirty in the run blocking and the pass blocking too when they're, you know, needed to. And one of the things that's so good is it's kind of an art form too. You got to know when to engage, right? When to run a route, when to engage and actually go ahead and block. And, you know, if you're not careful, that can cost you penalty yards. So seeing Watson do all the little things and then, go out there and making, you know, body adjusting catches and toe tappers and high pointing balls and just absolutely torching defenders at the next level. Like He is, man. He is he's a bona fide star in the making, and he really is. He's on the rise. I don't even know what a ceiling for him looks like. I really don't. And
Right.
Remember with the his rookie year and his second year, man, we kind of got cheated out of some Christian Watson reps, with injuries and things like that. This year, man, he's been available, and he's been putting up some really good numbers, man. It's exciting.
So to that point, Tim, he now has 514 snaps this year. 2023, 506. 2022, 507. So he's already 7-8 snaps more than either of the two previous years, and his offensive grade is the second highest. Obviously, his first year was 77, second year 68.2. This year he's a 71.2 with a slow start to the year. I'm not mad at that at all. He's been blocking. We've been able to – what I like is now that he doesn't have to be the main blocker all the time. He's actually able to get downfield and run some routes where we're actually willing to walk Wicks in and do that kind of stuff and just that kind of stock block. So I like that Matt's not forcing him to just be that blocking guy and Dobbs just to be the out-route guy.
I agree. Everybody does everything, right? I mean, nobody asks anyone to do anything they wouldn't do themselves in this offense. And I think in a lot of ways, that's how Matt coaches his team, right? He's willing to just put in the extra work and do the little things that can put us over the top. And you're absolutely right. We're not going to be one-dimensional as an offense,
Definitely. Nathaniel in the chat says, in all caps, I'm not going to scream it. I guess he was screaming. Why are we suffering a Southern accent covering the Pacers? This is the Packers, dog, not the Pacers, okay?
The Pacers?
Just so you know. But I'll tell you this, man. If you don't like the accent, we're going to have to hit you with one of these, okay?
Sit your butt outside.
All right, so you take care now, Bubba. We'll see you on the other side, all right? And he's gone. All right, let's move it along here. And I seen somebody say, well, can we not talk politics? Who the hell's talking politics on here? Did somebody say something about politics?
He did.
Oh, he must.
Nathaniel did.
Oh, Nathaniel did?
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Edit
cool.
D's. How about that?
There you go. We're out of here. Mr. Cake said, I just had to rewatch Rodgers throwing a seed to Jennings in the Super Bowl, just out of the reach of one Ryan Clark. Yeah, that play still haunts Clark to this day. And that's one of the things he said that made him mad.
Yep.
He said that Rodgers looked at him and said, 25. You were like that close. Like he was, to me, it was like a compliment. Like, man, it was, and he said, my friends call me 25 and we ain't friends. You call me by my name? Okay.
Oh, my gosh. Here's the tough guy act.
I got you. So you weren't wearing 25, or how are we supposed to, like, when the announcers called you, did they say 25, or I don't? You tell me, Ryan.
Yeah, it's just a tough look. It really is. Anyway, Christian Watson absolutely balling out. You love to see it, man. No doubt about that. All right. Oh, this is cool. Check this out, man. This little guy popped up. There were 3 cats on the property up at Blowing Rock, right?
Oh,
This dude just walked right to the top of the rock with me because that's like a huge drop off on the other side. Bro, his name was Rocky too. This dude was a pimp, man. He was absolutely.
He was just looking to have a good time.
Yeah, he laid down there and just checked out the view for a minute.
Can you imagine sunbathing up at the top of the mountains, being just a cat chilling up there, dude? Unbelievable. You're living the best life.
And I went to walk into the gift shop when we were leaving, and he tried to cut him out. No, stay back. And no one said, no, he'd come in. He lives in here. He walked right in, laid in the window. I was like, man, this is awesome, man. So anyway, pretty cool.
I don't know. Rocky's kind of got that. Can we see Rocky again?
Yeah.
Rocky kind of looks like a ref. I don't know.
He does got the stripes. I mean,
Come on now.
Unbelievable.
He didn't throw any flags when you were up there, did he?
He did not. No, so he couldn't. Yeah, it couldn't have been an official. There's no doubt about that. He was keeping it cool. So again, just reposting some of this stuff from Ryan Clark. Just walking through Twitter.
Oh,
Ryan Clark keeps calling Aaron Rodgers a fraud. Here are some of the things to know about Clark. He refused to appear on air with Sage Steele after he learned he was a conservative. He had a football agent help negotiate his deal in a clear conflict of interest that should be fireable. He defends those clients on the air. Pretends to be friends with ESPN hosts while trying to convince execs to give him their job. Did a segment to discuss how black quarterbacks are. Wears a pin with his initials on the suits. He's a problem. There you go. That pretty much sums it.
That last one kills me, dude.
No, it wears a suit with his initials.
Yeah, give Grandma her brooch back.
Exactly. We got to be careful with this one. Let me just do this so we don't get hit there. The other day we showed a 3-second clip that evidently came from the telecast, and they hit us with copyright. So here's what the tweet says from Jacob Morley. Edgerrin Cooper amongst all off-ball linebackers, minimum 150 coverage snaps. PFF coverage grade 76.9. That's third best in the league. NFL QB rating when targeted 70.4. That's first in the league with the lowest QBR when or the QB rating when targeted at 70.4 amongst linebackers. This dude, man, telling you that we have not seen this happen at the linebacker position. I don't think we've ever seen it in Green Bay since the PFF era. Have we? Who is the best linebacker that we've seen, inside linebacker, since PFF came on the scene? I think they came on the scene, what was it, 2012, something like that?
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, like, AJ Hawk, but we're kind of –
Yeah, I mean, he was and he was kind of on the backside of his,
maybe Clay when they had him walked inside, but I would say that's about
he
it.
played pretty well inside, didn't he, Clay?
Right, yeah.
Yep, he did.
And then that was kind of still before they started transitioning back to going back out there, but I think that would be your closest comparison. And wasn't Edgerrin, didn't he also get Rookie of the Year twice this year? And that was like the first time a Packers rookie has ever done, like a defensive rookie's ever done that, getting Player of the Week twice.
Yep. So you're constantly seeing these things happen for the first time. Man, it's as one guy said on the interweb one time, dead giveaway. So our boy Edgerrin Cooper, man, he's looking good, no doubt about it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what else we got here. I like this tweet that went out. This is legit too. This is Eric Wilson riding his bike to practice. All right, got them snow tires kicking over there. He tweeted out, "Snow? What snow? Ain't no stopping Eric Wilson and his bike from getting to practice, man." We love to see
it.
That is so cool that you can do. I mean, like that's the kind of small town feel that you literally can just hop on a bike and rip over to practice. Like, imagine trying to do that in downtown Atlanta. Or just like downtown Dallas. I mean, you'd be like 30 minutes away, even getting through traffic. You got to weave through all that. He's just cutting it up on the sidewalk. People are going to work. Tim's passing him. I see Tim in the back there. He's like 4 cars back.
Oh, I love it.
Hilarious, man. Absolutely hilarious. And again, this is what makes Green Bay special, right? We talk about it all the time. I remember the first trip I ever took to Green Bay. Actually, no, the second trip I took to Green Bay. We had set up a day like, hey, Mandy, I got you hooked up with this awesome spa. It's going to be a spa day for her, right? Like a massage therapist, all that good stuff. We roll in the parking lot, and I literally look away about 50 yards and went, that's Nick Barnett. Yep. Mandy was like, that's weird that you know who that is from that far away. I'm like, that's Nick Barnett. I know that's Nick Barnett. Didn't have a jersey on or nothing, right? So it's just cool that in the town of Green Bay, man, you run into people all the time.
Compared to, like Tua for this said, you get pulled over on the way to the stadium in a Bugatti in Miami. That's exactly what we're trying to avoid here. All we're worried about is that an electric bike? Is that one with a little engine on it too?
It looks like
I don't think so.
I don't think so. Those some big tires on that bike, boys.
That's a mountain bike.
That's 100% middle linebacker powered bike riding right there.
Yeah.
Tim is having none of the electric talk.
When he goes out to practice, he goes, "No, kids, I'm sorry, I have my own bike, but you can still ride with me."
That's awesome. It's just again, pretty cool that got tweeted out. Now here we go, the frozen tundra.
Yep. Here we go, the shots we can't get.
Yeah,
only the cool guys like Schneidman get these.
I got that shovel too.
I love it.
Tim, I got that same shovel they were using to clear the snow. I use that same one to throw mulch. The same shovel.
If you look really close in the background, you see Tim with a harness hanging off the light right there in the back. So Matt Schneidman put this tweet out and said, dumping snow here in Green Bay as the Packers prepare to host the Saints on Monday. Quay Walker and Javon Bullard, the only ones on the 53 not practicing. So, again, we already kind of hit the injury report. You're going to see some of that get recycled. But look at that snow, boys. This is better than man. I mean, seriously.
Yeah, I love it.
You get to practice in it. You get to work through it, catching the ball. You got stuff in your face. I mean, and Matt was saying it could be close to something like this game day, right? The word, Tim?
I mean,
slight chance, yeah.
There's a slight chance.
and
then we've got whatever's already on the ground too, so it'll be cold for sure at the very least. So I think it's good that Matt had him outside today and just get out there, get in the elements, especially having the extra day off this week.
Right.
Get out there. get
Do you
going.
think the Saints turned their practice facility into 30 degrees?
Yeah, I'm wondering
AC?
how do you? But that's the thing when a team from the South like that, how do you prep to come up here?
Mm-hmm.
Do you fly up to Chicago and try and go to that dumpster fire Chicago Bears facility and practice,
Right.
maybe
Right.
simulate the weather? I don't know, but at the end of the day, these guys are all pros, right? And the weather affects both teams. It's always in different ways, though. Obviously, we have the home field advantage playing at Lambeau, but I don't know. That's a great question. They're a dome team, so I hope we get more snow for Monday night. It'd be great.
There you go. Right now, the forecast is a high of 34 on Monday during the day, 50% chance of snow. Snow accumulations around an inch. And then Monday night, a low of 25 with a 17% chance of snow. And that's probably overnight. So you might see a little flurry. And this could change, Tim. You'll say it all the time, right? If you don't like the weather, hang around a few minutes, it'll change.
Yep.
You're looking at sunset being around 4:16 local time. So it's going to be – we're going to be well into, obviously, the darkness and the cold there come Monday Night Football kickoff. I think there's a chance you see some flurries at kickoff. I don't think it'll be any kind of heavy snow, but again, we'll check on it the next day or two and see if anything changes for sure. So,
yep.
All right, let's roll along here. This was awesome. We've been talking a little bit about Carrington Valentine. You guys know I'm on my soapbox. I said the time is now. I think he should be the starter. I think you should get the majority of the reps when Jai is healthy again this week. I think you'll see Eric Stokes and Carrington Valentine. There's a pretty good chance of that. Both those guys getting all of the snaps on defense, most likely. But Carrington Valentine, this is PFF Green Bay Packers, among cornerbacks in Week 15, 90.4 coverage grade. That's fifth, okay? And then it goes on to say 1 first down allowed, 1 interception, 1 forced incompletion, and a 58.3 passer rating allowed.
And tell the boys and girls at home, what round was he drafted in again, Clayton?
That was the 7th round of the University of Kentucky.
7th round draft pick. Balling like a first rounder. I love it. Let's
and
go.
I said
We
this
need more of
before,
this. More Valentine. We need early Valentine's Day gifts here. More reps, more snaps for Carrington.
And I'll say this. When people find out I'm a Kentucky fan, they're of course he's going to prop his boy up. Go back and listen to the pod last year. Tim, I dogged the hell out of Carrington last year. Did I not?
Yep.
It was like this dude, I want him to work out. He's a Wildcat. He's not playing good football. He's starting, and that's admirable. Like, hey, 7th round pick getting all that time, like 900 snaps last year, I think. But he did not play great football. This year, playing some pretty darn good football, boys. It's exciting. And I also mentioned before, too, when we went into the spring press conferences for the SEC, the year that Carrington was drafted, I remember Coach Stoops with Kentucky said, we got a big hole to fill in that secondary. Carrington was our emotional leader on defense is what he said. So it's just awesome to see him have this kind of game. And again, it's only 1 week where it's like, whoa, this dude played really lights out. But we also went and compared passer rating when targeted. He's right there on par with Keyshawn Nixon. He's probably much better than Keyshawn Nixon now, probably climbed up the ranks as far as passer rating when targeted. So statistically having a better year than Keyshawn at the moment when you look at kind of some of the key analytics in that regard. That's not to say he's a better corner than Key. It's just saying right now he's playing better football than Key. There's no doubt. So
he has been. And that was another thing on Big R's breakdown, and he was just taken back as a Seahawks fan that like he was able to peel off of a man route, turn his hips completely, get upfield and make that play because he knew where the stakes were. He knew that, if he's trying to go over the top of me, he's trying to force that touchdown. And, we brought the pressure pick, coverage, sack. That's all it takes.
Definitely. All right, so again, Carrington, let's keep an eye on him as we go through the rest of the year. Go ahead,
He had
Tim.
that PBU right before that play, too, before the pick, too.
Man, this is crazy, too, man.
A hell of a defensive play as well.
Tim, I heard people saying he dropped an interception, and I'm like,
it's debatable. It was probably catchable, but I don't care. He didn't give up a touchdown. That's the more important thing. And then he turned around and got a pick on the next play, right?
Right.
The reason I kind of disagree with he dropped the interception is I remember him turning around, making a play on the ball. He's fading left, throws his right hand up and swats the ball away. I didn't look at that like he dropped an interception, but maybe I'm giving him a little too much credit there. I don't know. And here's the information we talked about, Ian Rappaport. So it was actually Rappaport that talked about Spencer Rattler. I was wrong on that. Saints interim coach Darren Rizzi told reporters that Spencer Rattler will start at quarterback on Monday night against the Packers. Meanwhile, running back Alvin Kamara is unlikely to play with a groin injury more severe than initially known. So that came straight from the head coach. Those two guys probably going to be shut down. This kind of sounds like the Saints are packing it in for the year and going, all right, let's try to get a little bit better draft pick and let some of the young guys play and get them some experience.
Oh, cool. Well, we will happily hand you that L for you to take back to New Orleans. That's fine. Come on up here and grab that L.
Yeah. And you see this, and it's like, yeah, let's let Jair sit this one out, boys. Let's let him get healthy, And if he's full participation, great. All right, he checked out during the week, awesome. Ja, let's sit it down one more time. And I'm on board too with what you guys were saying. I think it was you two that were saying like, hey, what about limited snaps? Have him ready, right? Get him in a series or two, test it a little bit, and then all right, let's shut it down for the night.
Because wasn't he full participation all last week too?
He was
like full participation all week, and then game day doesn't play. So maybe it's the same way this week, full participation and then doesn't play. But we can hope, obviously. But we just don't know until game time.
The question is, do they want to use a spot? For how many can they dress on game day? It's like 48 or something, 46 or something.
I think it's 48.
Okay, so we'll see.
I rock real quick said Stoops, as in legendary Bob from the Sooner State. It's Bob's brother. If I remember correctly, it's Bob Stoops was the coach of Oklahoma, right? For a long time, I think he won a natty there. It's his brother that was coaching Kentucky, and that whole family is like legends in the state of Oklahoma. So just to throw that out there real quick, but not that anybody cares about Kentucky football. Hell, it was hard for me to care this year with the way they play. It is what it is. Coach Lynn says if Valentine stayed in college for another year, he would have been a third-round pick. Glad he came out early and we got him. That's a great point, Coach. I could see that being the case. I could see him, waiting another year and climbing somewhere between the third and the fifth, something like that, right? Hell, maybe even the second. Who knows? But yeah, you're right. It worked out great for the Packers for sure. So, all right. Anything else in the chat? I think we're good, right? Yeah, we're good. Okay, so let's move it along here. See what else we got. There's the Alvin Kamara news. We kind of talked about that. And I think we're actually – here we go. Just a quick little nugget here from Matt Schneidman. Quay Walker had a boot on his left foot in the locker room today after injuring his ankle in Seattle. By the way, Matt LaFleur said earlier this week he has more week to week than day to day. So, obviously, there's no chance Quay Walker's playing this week. Let him rest up for the playoffs, too. You're going to want him healthy for the playoffs, no doubt.
Because it's going to be Eric Wilson taking the dot. However bad we want Coop to take it, it's not. I don't think it's going to happen this year. Keep Eric Wilson in there just because he knows what he's got to call. Bing, bam, boom, done. Then maybe Isaiah McDuffie loses a couple snaps to Coop getting a few more, and just run it from there. But Coop is even more on that track of let him rest until the playoffs and then move forward with it rather than more so than Ja.
Maybe we get a little more snaps for Tyron Hopper in the mix here if Quay's going to be missing a couple of games.
There you go. I like how he comes downhill. I mean, at some point he's going to have to get a couple reps.
Was it you said last week, Amelia? He got 3 snaps.
He got 3 snaps, and he made a tackle on one of them. So that's something I can get behind.
So do you take another 3 away from Zay McDuffie or something, and give him 3 more?
I wouldn't be mad at it.
Build it up, give him a little more.
I really wouldn't be mad at it. I mean, he's been out there on special teams all year. He's doing his thing, but you get different in the live rep because Home Depot was in on those same 3 plays. He came up and spotted him on one of those tackles, but it's just a different game speed, even to backups or whatever it is.
Yep.
Yeah. Drew D in the chat said, do you want to test these guys on a snowy field? That's how the 49ers got Christian McCaffrey hurt for the season. It's a good point. It's a good point. I don't want to test them on any field if they're not 100%, period. Yeah. Right? We're saying if Jair Alexander checks out with the mile-per-hour test that Matt LaFleur was talking about, if he checks out, blows it out of the water, I'm cool with, hey, let's sit him this week. But if you want to get him out there a series or two, the only way you do that is if he checks out 100% ready to go. If there's a 0.5% chance that, hey, he's not ready to go, I don't want to see him on the field. That's just me. So anything you guys want to add to that comment there?
just to that situation, Chris N said here, Goots said they had a second round grade on Hopper. Lies. Do you think that's the case? Like, do you think that Goody was not, giving us a runaround a little bit on it just because, we took another linebacker after we already took one? I'm not mad at it, but you would think that if it's a second round pick, just like Cooper, if he's the skill of Cooper or in that same talent pool as Cooper, you would think that he'd get a couple more snaps on the field.
Yeah,
but there's also where you're drafted and how you develop as a player. We're into your first season. If you're not grasping concepts, if you don't know there can be a multitude of reasons why a rookie doesn't get playing time.
All right. And if Chris N's saying that Goody lied about that, I don't think he lied about that. You want to lose trust within your organization, and that you say that type of stuff and it not be true. I'm thinking that Goody's telling the truth there. He probably did have a second round grade on him. And the reason I say this, because if you go into the media and you say we had a second round grade on him, and every scout, everyone who sat in on your board meeting, building the draft board, knows it was a fifth round or whatever it was, that is not a good look for you as a general manager. Mm-hmm. To me, that stuff does not happen in the building. That's just me personally. Now, I will say this about Tyron Hopper. We had over 200 prospects on our draft board, right? Emilio, you were in the house for the draft this year. Out of those 200 plus, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 were in purple, meaning they were an absolutely perfect match for the Green Bay Packers. So they may have something baked into their system, their draft board, that, hey, if they meet the criteria all the way across the board, meaning age, size, measurables in terms of an RAS or whatever athletic score they use. It also meant that they did a one-on-one interview with them. They were a top 30 visit, all that stuff, right? Then maybe that boosts them up their board, right? That could be the case too. And that could have made him a second-round pick on their board, because there are what they call cluster busters that scouts and GMs use to kind of get you through the muddy water when you've got a cluster of players like, hey, we got all these guys with a similar grade. All right, well, let's look at the measurables. Let's look at all these intangibles, these things that we find are very, very important to us that maybe some organizations don't, like the Bears, and that's why they always suck.
So sometimes a bad interview can drop you out of the conversation just by being brought in for a visit. I mean, we were talking about the Rodgers documentary last night, right? Perfect example. He talked about the interview in Green Bay being one of the most difficult he went on when he was being drafted. And it's a testament to what we do in Green Bay when it comes to our young players. You're going to put them under pressure, put them in that room, put some pressure on them, see how they respond to it. Does any professional football team want to draft any player that, cowers in the face of a little pressure? I don't think so.
Right. Read this comment for me here. I'm going to see if I can pull up the grading scale real quick.
Drew D, I checked this one. I would agree with this. I don't really think the Packers grade them out by rounds. It's more by tier. So I think there's truth to that statement, right? You're building a draft board. You got your projected rounds, right? Obviously, everyone tries to do that, mocks and all those things. But you're looking at these players by position and by their skill set, I think, above anything else, right? Because guys they drop and rise in the draft by the minute sometimes.
Yeah, no, I think that's exactly it. I was looking at the board, Clayton, the laminated one, and Coach here, he said, what did y'all think of Knight, the linebacker from UTEP that played for the Seahawks? He was picked after Hopper. So I put him on the list way down at the bottom, but around Hopper in, if we're talking cluster buster, would have been Dallas Gant, Jandre Hunter, Bozeman, and Darius Massow would have been around where we had him on our board kind of. And
that's not him right there, is it?
That is exactly the man, Tim. That is the man. He got spiked. So yeah, that's tough.
Somebody come look at this.
That's not a great look. I haven't seen that happen to Hopper, but he also hasn't gotten that much playing time.
That's true. That is true.
But I mean, compared to maybe where Dallas Gant is, I can look that up and see maybe where he's at if he's getting a lot of playing time. But it's like, I'm not mad. I think that he really could have that second round take or the second round skill on Hopper. It's just maybe it's not coming to him, or maybe he just doesn't understand the defense yet. I don't know. But
J. Cole, Knight would be where Hopper is on special teams.
See.
All right, pull that Drew comment back up for me. Let's hit this real quick and we'll wrap up. I know we're at the hour 22 mark. I don't really think the Packers grade them out by rounds. It's more by tier. Okay, so this is how pretty much every NFL team does their grading system. Okay, it's my understanding everyone across the league uses this grading scale, and they kind of bend it and tweak it to fit their style of drafting. Okay. Mm-hmm. This was an article written by Bill Parcells. We're not going to go through the entire article, but I just want to say this is the second of a two-part series examining the personnel evaluation process. The installment looks at the exact topping and numerical grading systems used in personnel evaluation. Part one covered how sticking to the positional prototypes leads to good team building. And this goes on to talk about you're trying to prevent busts. Okay. That's basically what it's saying. So it says, for example, every time I hear Barry Sanders' name, I think of the letter C because he was a great player and the system allowed you to draft great players even high if, as in Barry's case, they didn't have prototypical height. He was an exception, and Darrell Green was an exception. You guys remember Darrell Green, the fastest guy in the NFL forever, right?
Yep.
Played for a long time too. But they were great players. The system allowed you to do that. You're trying to cut down your margin for error, right? Blah, blah, blah. Here's the scale. This is how NFL teams grade these players, okay? This is not how I do my draft board. I just do a ranking system. I got a ranking system of people in the draft community that I trust, right? That's the way I roll. So grade a 9 to a 9.9, okay? Offensive skill player only, okay? Immediately dominant Pro Bowl MVP candidate prototype. From 8 to 8.9, all positions immediately dominant Pro Bowl player, top 6 or 7 selection. 7 to 7.9. All positions, immediate first-year starter, first-round selection, significant contributor, and solid from day one. 6'4 to 6'9, eventual starter, might need development in first year, must have special teams value, lower first-round or second-round selection. 5'5 to 6'3, will make the roster as a backup with vision of a specific role, kind of a role player type. Contributor on special teams, round 3 through 7. 5'5", minimum grade to make the team. 4.0 to 5'4", undraftable player based on college performance. Scan hard for prototype traits to possibly develop. Free agent or practice squad. 3.0, 3.9, one redeemable feature only. He is big, fast, or tough. And then 2.0 is where I would fall into the category. He's a reject. Okay. That's the way that works. So, listen, this was kind of a little outdated from Bill Parcells. If you look at the way Michael Lombardi sets the draft scale, I think it runs up to a 7.9 now, something like that. If I remember correctly. The 33rd team had a draft board. Let's see if they still got it here. They may still have it up. The big board mock draft. Maybe it was the big board. Let's see here real quick. Probably not going to have it here. They actually had the grades on the big board. See, yeah, they don't have the actual board. They had a draft board during the draft, and we showcased it a lot. We'll just close this out because they don't have it now. And it actually showed the grades. You remember, Emilio? We had one printed off, didn't we?
Yeah.
30-team draft board. You got one?
Oh, yeah.
I've got it saved somewhere, but I had it in a paper copy. It's probably over here on the table.
Give me 1 sec.
You're good, man. You're good. So essentially what they had was the actual grades. So they had them ranked like 8 to 9 or whatever it was, right? And then 7 to 8. And they had them, into different tiers. So with what Drew's saying here, right, I really don't think the Packers grade them out by rounds. It's more by tier. Spot on, right? Now, here's the thing. If you look at those players and how they're ranked, you can go top 32, that's first-round talent, right? 32 to 64, there's your second-round talents. You can look at it that way too, right? So it's kind of tongue-in-cheek in that regard. So hopefully that makes sense. But, yeah.
I found one of them, but, yeah, it was like Monk was in the 5.7 category on yours.
Got it. So you see that. So that's the second page, right? So that's
So second or third page, I think.
Put it up a little bit closer. If you look to the far left of the screen, I think it's on. Go back the other way. You'll see. You can't see it. There's actually a grade right there, and that whole section that's separated, it actually has that grade listed. Like that big section in the middle there, Emilio. What's the grade on those?
That's a 5.7.
There you go. So that's
a 5.6, and Monk was in this 5.7 category. So Monk was in this middle 5.7 category here.
Gotcha. So, and again, what's Monk been, right? He's been this dude. He hasn't, I don't think he's played. Has he played a snap this year? I don't think he's played a snap.
I think, didn't he go in at center?
He may have went in the time or two.
Let me look real quick.
You see, they're looking at this guy that they're looking at Monk is like, this is a future developmental player. But there's a reason they would not dare put him on the practice squad.
No, he's only been on special teams.
There you go. Got it. So good deal. All right. We went over, but I just wanted to kind of highlight that. I love the question that Drew asked there, or just the comment he mentioned. It's so true to understand how they look at this. But again, you can break it out into like certain rounds. But I think what Drew's saying, you correct me if I'm wrong, Drew, what he's saying is they don't look at it, oh, nope, we can't take him here because he's a second-round pick, right? It's best players available as you get to that point. Is it a position of need? All right, do you have a cluster of players? If you got a cluster of players, okay, what is the most position of need within that group? Also, what Goody likes to do is trade back. If you got multiple players in that tier, let's trade back. Chances are one of those 3 players will be there. One of those 5 players will be there when we pick again, and you pick up an extra pick to potentially trade back up a little later. So there you go. All right. Anything else, fellas? Anything at all?
We got our winner in the chat.
My man. Matrix, we have not heard from the other 2 people. Let's give it till tomorrow morning. If I haven't heard from them, we'll get your mailing address wherever you'd like that sent to, and we'll get the Lucas Van Ness jersey sent out. So if we don't hear from Greg in Green Bay or our other boy, what was the name again? You get was it
Lyrical Killer, Clayton.
Yeah, Emilio's favorite artist. Yeah,
on tour right now. That's why he's missing us.
Yeah. So he's going to pop up when the tour ends and be like, hey, where's my jersey? Sorry, bro. But that's it, guys. We're going to get out of here. Anything else, fellas? We good?
We're good. Go.
Yeah, I think we're good.
All right, fellas, ladies and gentlemen, we will see y'all tomorrow. Good morning, Lambeau, at 8:30 Central Time in the morning. We'll start to really dive into the Saints matchup as tomorrow's Friday, right? Yeah. So what we'll probably do is maybe if we do an evening show, we'll do it a little earlier than usual because Notre Dame plays tomorrow in the playoffs. I'd like to go out and grab a daddy soda and some wings and hopefully don't see them get boat raced by Indiana. Of course, that would probably be what would happen. So
Playoffs?
With that being said, we'll see y'all first thing in the morning for Good Morning Lambeau. As always, let's go out and be the change we want to see in the world and go back.
And we go. We out.
Bye, guys.